Okay, cool. Well, welcome everybody.
Yeah, welcome,
I think
guys.
This is like our
Fifth.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, it hasn't, because I remember the other episode
yeah,
hasn't actually come out.
Yeah.
So it's our
So
fifth.
this is like our fifth podcast.
Yeah.
Of course, my name is Glody, and I'm joined by.
Yeah,
Beryl.
Kelvin. Oh, sorry, you go first. Nah, you go first. Apologies. Now I was in order.
Beryl.
And Kelvin. Yeah, this is the first time we've had like a free podcast setup.
Yeah.
Triple threat. Yeah, I wish I had a gold mic as well, but there were issues behind the scenes, so I got a black one. But also actually, I wanted to show you guys. I'm wearing
We got Stay Fresh today.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Stay. I done it like a kid. Imagine the way I pointed to it. But yeah, I'm wearing Stay Fresh. I think they're very, very good shoe company, cleaning company, and hopefully they venture into fashion because I really like their jumpers.
They
And
got
I like
nice
it.
bottoms as well.
Yeah, I do like. Yeah, they're flare bottoms. No, they should. They should, you know.
I've seen them.
You haven't seen them? No, they're proper nice, you know.
I know they had jumpers, but not.
Nah, well, yeah, Billions was meant to give me the full tracksuit, but I just got the jumper at the moment.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd appreciate having the bottoms as well. I think it's a very cool tracksuit. I can't lie to you. But yeah, what's the topic for today?
So the topic for today is
What are you
actually
yapping
chosen
about
by
today?
Beryl.
Jeez,
And I'll read it out first. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. But here we go. Council culture and freedom of expression.
Council.
I'm asking council culture.
My pronunciation ain't the best, but anyways.
Yeah.
In a Gen Z phenomenon where cancel culture has impact and affects artists and creatives, does it foster accountability or hinder creative risk-taking and open expression? What did you get for
Wait, hold on. Pause. No.
That's
That's what I was gonna ask. No,
anyway.
pause. That's what I was gonna ask. Wait, that's what I was gonna ask. Pause.
What did
You was reading it. It's not even that.
You really
No,
like went in on that
she
one.
used ChatGPT
Actually,
to
no.
answer it. Did you actually?
No, I actually. So what I did was because I work with a lot of
Yeah, like musicians and stuff like that.
What I do is because we regularly have to send emails in my workplace.
Yeah.
I asked her to. Does it make sense? Like, how would you?
Oh,
Like, word
okay.
this and
So
amend it. She rewrote it. I didn't like it, and then I just made some changes. So it's kind of a mixture of, like, two of us.
So are you saying basically that you growing around like black people basically made you a bit dumber, and since you've been working wherever you've been
I'm
working,
telling
and
you,
obviously
the truth
being
is,
exposed to different cultures has allowed
Yeah,
you
like
to become smarter. Kinda rude.
Even like, so no, I'm not gonna. Even people that are like intelligent from our demographic, they usually like kind of change themselves a little bit so that they can fit in
the workplace.
But no,
talking
I mean I'm talking about
in
generally.
general.
But
Oh,
it's like they should. The truth is, down the line, you will see the like, I guess the positiveness of just staying true to. If you're an intelligent person, you're well spoken. Continue being intelligent.
okay, I hear
and
you.
well
It
spoken.
shouldn't be
But then
affected
over
by
time, you
other
actually start to
factors,
water down your intelligence
Your
because
intelligence.
you're trying to water it down to everyone that else that's around you.
I
that's
hear
dumb.
that, you know.
But do you get what I mean? But then
Yeah.
down the line, you regret it because it's like you've now
Your uniqueness, you decided to.
and it's actually
trade.
deteriorated
Yeah,
over
you want it
time.
to be.
Do
No,
you
I
get
hear
what
that,
mean?
you know.
So I'm like, okay, so now that I'm around, Caucasian
Yeah.
kind of people, they just speak a certain way usually, and it's just like, it gets
Yeah.
you a bit more.
This is a bit off topic, yeah, but did you guys ever feel like during COVID you got a bit like at one point like you had to G-check yourself and you felt a bit dumb? It was just me.
I didn't feel like that.
Really? Nah, at one point, yeah, I just felt like I wasn't. No, it's not that I wasn't like learning or I'm stupid. I just felt like I wasn't continuously learning. So at one point, I just had to
I
G-check
felt like
myself.
COVID was more of a reason
Yeah.
to like look into like a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like there was more time to kind of observe things and look
Yeah.
at things at a deeper level.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean though. I think that's why I done it. Like you just sit
Okay,
down
so
and
in
realize,
the end,
yeah,
you felt
because
like-
do you know what it is? Because life was so busy before that. You're working, going to work, and doing whatever you want to do. Sometimes you wouldn't have as much time to just sit down and be by yourself. And then COVID comes and you have a lot of time to sit down and by yourself, be by yourself. You get what I mean?
I was actually going to say that I think with COVID, I struggled the most with not being as busy. Like,
Okay,
I
yeah,
think-
You're
yeah,
so
yeah.
used to being busy and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
there's always something to do. I'm always on the go. So I don't like spending too much time with myself, which is not
Yeah.
a good thing
yeah.
to a certain degree. Because I
Yeah.
feel like because I am like a thinker and kind of like a creative thinker,
Yeah.
can sometimes just
Overthink.
Just
gets a bit
drown-
too deep,
drown in
and
your
then it's
own
like,
mind.
nah. So I
Drown
really
in your
hated
face,
COVID.
basically.
Like even during COVID, I was trying to find ways to be busy.
Busy. You remember when?
I still had times when I was even leaving the house to go play. I don't even know.
Nah,
what
I
was
hear
doing,
that.
But I definitely still tried to find
Nah. I saw a picture of me and Beryl. You know, I don't know. We made some song or something like that. We done something. We recorded something. I posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
I looked disgusting. I was wearing a cap, with a
Yeah,
yellow
everyone was
yellow
just
turtleneck.
I feel like
I was going through it.
Everyone was just a little bit slimmer. Like, I feel like I put on so much weight.
Nah, that's you, bro. I can't lie to you.
I feel like
No,
most
but
people
you
put on
look
weight.
quite slim as well, bro.
no, yes, but okay, cool.
Most
No, I
people
don't
put on
want to.
weight.
No, because what I'd say would be rude, innit? So I'm just gonna keep my comments to myself.
I can't lie.
Oh,
I
you
still,
I'm not.
to this day, I still have COVID weight because I put on weight in COVID.
Yeah, I've put
Not
on.
as
Okay, cool.
as-
No, that's not. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not
You
gonna.
can't. You can't.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna
Right,
say it.
let's get back to
Aye.
you know.
The cancel
actual
culture stuff.
topic. Yes. What's you lot's thoughts?
What on
So-
cancel culture?
So I
Yeah, go on,
I
bro.
think when we have this discussion,
Yeah.
we should give points for both sides.
Okay, cool.
But I know what I'd say my answer is based on how the majority respond.
Okay, cool.
That makes sense.
Do you know? I think upon like looking at this.
What the
topic,
question?
Yeah, at the question. Yeah.
Yeah, let me
I found
quickly
it
look at
hard
it.
to like find like one answer, and instead what I actually had was like many different opinions about it, instead of just having one specific. Okay, cool. Nah, I think this is right. I think this is wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean you can go on.
Wait, so what was like you guys are understanding of the question? Like, I'm not being dumb in it, but I'm just
So
wondering.
For me, I felt
It's just
like
a bunch
it
of
was-
words, mate.
For me, it was more like, does, basically the opinions of people have an impact on your creative freedom?
No, of course. Of course
That's
it
the
does.
way I read it.
Yeah, I
That
get
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, when you say it like that, of course, 100%.
Yeah.
I remember there
and-
was,
yeah.
I don't know what it was. I think there was an artist that was after someone on a podcast, because they was commenting on their music. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how could you be pressed because someone's commenting or has an opinion on your music? That's like, I get you're bringing out something that's true to you,
Yeah.
but people are 100% always gonna have an opinion. But I wanted to actually ask a question based off that. I said this off the pod, but I'm gonna say it on the pod as well. Don't you feel like some people escape cancel culture? And obviously that's the thing, because there's some people that are able to escape cancel culture. Do you think it's because?
But when you say escape cancel culture, like what do you mean?
Okay, cool. So I use Chris Brown.
Above.
Chris Brown
Yeah.
should have been cancelled or was cancelled because he had a fight
But that's the thing.
with Rihanna, or he physically
But is
abused
that
her.
bad thing though,
I can't lie
escaping
to you.
cancel
I
culture?
can't say that he has
No.
fully escaped it.
You know, he was affected by it. Okay, cool.
Till
cool,
this
cool.
day,
he's not the
trust
same,
me,
innit?
Yeah.
Chris Brown is still affected by it. Chris Brown is still amazing because the truth is he releases a lot of material.
Yeah, but no one
and he's
really
got
cares about it.
undeniable talent.
No, unbelievable talent.
But trust me, there's limitations to his career since that, and it still lingers over his head till today.
Okay.
But it did affect him. Like, I genuinely feel like he should have been a lot more than what
Bigger than he is.
Yeah, like even from his shows,
You think?
like to how the productions are. Like I even think someone like Chris Brown would have gone a lot further. But I do
Further
think,
than Drake?
yeah, you know,
Okay.
Chris
You know
Brown's been about. I feel like he's been about before Drake.
No, he was.
Yeah,
Actually, I
like
don't know. No, I can't make that comparison because it's quite difficult. You don't know when people actually started. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
It depends
I mean,
on
we could
when
probably
I don't know
check,
how to
but
measure that.
I know that I've known of Chris Brown
Before Drake, yeah.
But obviously, that might be biased because I'm an R&B head.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, I used the
do
wrong
think
example,
that-
you know.
I do think that to a certain extent, it did affect him. It definitely even affected his mental health. And of course, because he's such a big artist, and of course, you can just tell that he loves music. He lives and breathes on music.
And dancing as
He's
well.
still continuing to create. But
Wish I
for a
could
lot of
dance.
people, it becomes so overwhelming because everywhere you turn, it's like it gets rubbed in your face, from social media to, brands even dropping you, like different things. Like there's a lot of things where you'll be affected. Certain places you won't be able to perform anymore. Certain brands won't endorse you anymore.
No, certain brands
So even
100% won't endorse you because of how they look. Not that they care.
Yeah.
It just depends on how
Yeah,
they
because-
look. So I agree.
Because the consumers are the public.
Okay,
and
can
if
I-
the public don't agree, they can call you out, and then it becomes a whole big
Do you
thing.
know why I find it kind of hard, to like agree with that, And I know I'm always
With-
like kind
With
of
what?
To
coming
agree
What are you agreeing with?
Beryl's point,
Which bit?
What about?
the point that you made that about the fact that cancel culture has
An
affected him
effect
to an
on
extent.
people. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I get you, bro.
I think because I feel like cancel culture, if you look at it, I personally feel like it's actually meant to make you more innovative. The reason why I say that, is because a lot of people you can have like two different perspectives. One
Yeah, go on.
perspective can be like, okay, cool. Because nobody's really like effing with me and stuff like that, I can just, you know, go back into myself, not really create what I need to create. But then there's a second perspective where it's like, okay, cool. People right now, they're not really effing with me. But if I build myself, to a point, where it's like I'm creating something that people aren't able to live without, that's me rising above that. And in a way, it's kind of you using cancel culture in a positive.
Turn negative to
I always feel like you can actually choose to look at something in a positive way. You can actually use challenges, you can use tough times to your 100%. Actual benefit.
No, I agree.
I feel like Chris Brown, I've seen much more of his like creative designs, his artistic designs. I didn't even know that he was into like things like painting and stuff like that.
Who, Chris Brown?
Yeah,
was he into painting?
No, he's
likes into painting.
Like
I
didn't know that. I don't.
Street
and all of that
street
sort of
artwork
stuff.
stuff. But the thing is, so for me,
that's why I don't feel like he would be.
But your point said that it's meant to create. It's meant to kind of drive innovation. But the truth is, that's the way we see it based on, I guess, what we're exposed to. And what we're taught.
But obviously, not everyone will.
The reality of what it does
is undeniable.
Like I think I was reading some sort of article of some psychiatrist basically saying that like I didn't even know that this was a condition. Like there's like hypersensitive people and non-hypersensitive people. I think they call them non-HSP and then HSP people.
Okay.
So I was even trying to see. Okay, so I think I asked Google saying like, how do you become like a non-HSP, non-sensitive person, basically?
Non-sensitive.
Non-hypersensitive person.
Go
whatever.
on.
Sorry, it's a lot of words.
Oh, that's calm.
But there was like, I wasn't really finding an answer. So I just think it was genuinely, I think it was just kind of just saying that people are wired differently. But I think the environment, how they're brought up, what they're exposed to, affects how they feed, how they're wired, if that makes sense. So if somebody has grown up, if somebody, for example, is born and their brain is wired in a place where they are naturally a bit more sensitive
than others, they won't make it out.
It's like they would, if they appear like they're not sensitive, they would have had to condition themselves to not regard if someone says this or that. They would have to.
People do struggle with that.
Learn. Do you get what I mean? But even from that article as well, it was just basically highlighting that words are very powerful and they like produce like a stimuli that people have different ways of interpreting things. So when someone says something, two different people can have two different reactions, or they can have the same reaction. But there's different things that it can trigger for an individual. Wow. Some person doesn't trigger nothing. For another individual, it's triggering a past relationship, a traumatic childhood experience, different things. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like it's not really meant. It should be like negative comments or people's opinions and whatever. It shouldn't deviate you from your creativity and your creative path. But the truth is, it actually does. So I even want to use an example of so Dutchavelli, for example.
He was bringing out music
I think he started music. From what I read, he started music about 2016. And then I think the allegations came out about 2020.
When did he blow? Was it COVID times? I don't remember.
I think it might have been just before that,
I don't remember.
Music in 2016. I remember I first started hearing him around 2018, 2019.
No, let's research. What's some of his songs? You know what's so crazy? I forgot what his songs are called.
He started making music 2016, but I think he started. I just say what I read is that he started his music career 2016.
Not that he was blown or anything. He just started.
So that can mean anything. And I think the allegations happened around 2020, and since 2020, I think that was his last album. However, he has released stuff, but he hasn't really been on social media. And I can't lie to you, Dutchavelli was one of the artists that I really loved because I really loved his sound. Like,
he was hard. Like, you can't even deny it.
Like, I like that sound a lot, and it was kind of like a drill but hip hop.
That grrr sort of.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it gets you gassed. Like, it's gym music. Like, do you know what I mean? Gets you hyped. But
now what you're saying is true. No, I thought you were gonna carry on talking. 4 years ago, only if you knew had 58 million views. Well, obviously 4 years ago it might not have been 58, but it has 58 million views. I can see a song I think he brought out with someone called Fire.
So he was popping, bro.
Do you know how many views?
He genuinely could have been like, because I don't know if I'm right. But I don't know if it was around the time even when Pop Smoke was around lingering as well. And I was even thinking that he actually has the potential to get
Really?
that kind of like.
I even like A&R.
No, like I actually feel like if he's consistent and he continues bringing like good bangers, I really feel like he can work his way to be up, you know, a bit more commercial like that.
But think about it, like his trajectory was kind of peak. I think like one of his biggest songs was with Tion Wayne and Stormzy. And I think at that point he was kind of like at the height. It's like every single time you're constantly
Stormzy. Let me check how many views that has.
And I was even following him on, I think I still follow him on social media. Yeah. But I remember when the allegations started to come up and then seeing his posts. So I think he even, I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it.
What was you looking for?
There was a song that he made shortly after the time when the allegations were coming out about him speaking to an underage girl.
Oh,
and then I think he was kind of like touching on it and the difficulties of, you know, people's opinions and the pressure and all that stuff. And it was kind of like trying to show his, I guess his perspective and how he's dealing with it and whatever. I couldn't find it. I don't know if it's been deleted or something like that. Yeah. But even that, when it was released, wasn't really getting traction.
No one cared, didn't it?
Like, and even though he is still releasing music, you don't even know. But I didn't know. But I had to research. I had to go and look to find. They were like, "Oh, Dutch Avelli, I remember him." Yeah. Like
on YouTube.
You know what I mean? And even with him, like I feel like the confidence, even like just the swag that he had, you can actually see that he just doesn't have that confidence anymore. Yeah. He can still like perform and he does stuff like, and he's still flamboyant. Yeah. But I don't know what it is. I do feel like those allegations, whether it was true or not, because I'm not here to say if it's true or not or whatever.
We're not judges here.
I feel like I saw a dip in his confidence and just, you know.
Or just his bringing out music. Because I think at one point he was bringing out music monthly.
Yeah, monthly. And it was always gaining traction. It was always gaining like.
But you see what my response to that is, though. Yeah, for me personally, I saw a quote earlier in the week, that actually said, "Weak minds don't get validated." And for me, it's like, okay, cool. You've heard, you know, whatever allegations are going on, whether or not, that's your own thing. I think, like the point that I was making earlier on, that all of this stuff happening is just an opportunity for you to show how strong your mind is. Because remember, there's that saying of, always survival of the fittest and stuff like that. Yeah. So things, the way life goes, things are going to happen to kind of take you off course. Yeah. It's then down to you to be able to either ride that wave and get better, or you can succumb to, the pressure.
I agree.
The truth is, I think, I'm definitely like hearing your point, and I definitely agree with it 100%. I just think that when being confronted in those
it's difficult
situations,
to handle.
like on a day-to-day, and I'm talking about millions of people having an opinion on you, and also not experiencing that before ever in your life. Maybe he's even grown up being like the class favorite, or with his boys, or he's the most popular because he had bars and whatever. Yeah. Like, I think experiencing something like that for the first time on a grand scale, it really can affect individuals, especially creative individuals, that it's like
that aren't used to that environment.
Unique expression that they're trying to sell. They're trying to sell it so that the audience can basically accept it and like it, even though it's a unique perspective. And it's like, I think it's easier to do if you've been trained, or you have some sort of mentor or something, someone or a community that has wired your brain to interpret certain things in a certain way.
So you reminded me of a quote. I forgot where I got the quote from. But if you live for the people, then you'll die by either the people or their opinions, innit? So that's to make your point. There's something Glody said interesting earlier, innit? I want to mention someone who, for some reason, throws themselves into getting cancelled. It's like they live on it. It's Kanye West. Yeah. This is someone who I actually typed in his professions. It says he's a rapper, film producer, poet, philanthropist, politician. How?
Has he not changed his name multiple times?
Fashion designer. His name's Ye. His name's Ye. Like, you see him.
He was the point I was actually going to make.
Yeah. Okay.
That I think the reason why it's worked for him is because, unlike other artists, he is into everything.
Yeah.
He is into everything. He is persistent.
Yeah.
And because he's not limited by one stream, if that makes sense, it doesn't limit him in terms of resources. It doesn't limit him in terms of anything. Do you get what I mean? And I feel like the reason why it's also worked for him is it's a form of entertainment as well, because sometimes Kanye says the things that I think people that usually say things that people are thinking or have thought and will never voice out. This guy is just outrageous and will just come out with it. Even things that we haven't even thought of, the guy just comes out with it. And it's entertaining to watch because he's not like the masses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the average person is going to conform to, you know, the guidelines of being a respectable person and whatever.
Yeah,
and
but he
just
doesn't care.
Because usually the
that.
average person that's, you know, included in the council code, I keep saying
Cancel. C-A-N-C-E-L, not C-O-U.
Cancel culture.
N-C-I-L. No, I was speaking to Karis today, innit? Briefly before we started, and I was telling her I was reading up on when he wore, you know, when Black Lives Matters was blowing, he wore a shirt that says all white. No, White Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wait,
I feel like
this was like
Kanye West has done this. Yeah,
in the
he's
midst
done
of like
it. Midst of it. But I feel like sometimes he does things because he knows it'll provoke people.
Yeah.
Or he's just like delusional, not in a bad or negative way, but you need some type of delusion not to care about what anyone thinks. But I want to back Beryl's point as well. Just typed in here, you do know that Adidas lost 540 million, when Yeezy split.
Yeah.
With when Yeezy
Shows
split
the value
with
that he
them.
actually brought to
So
the
it shows there's value there, bearing in mind he's also a completely separate artist that has won many awards. I was going to say, I don't know what awards he's won though. Probably won like MOBOs or something like that. What was, I don't know. Would he have?
This is more British, no?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, you know.
It can't be MOBOs.
I don't know what he's won, maybe. No, he's won. No, he would have won
won a
loads of
Grammy.
things. Okay, yeah, I was going to say Grammy, but I wasn't too sure, you know. I don't
Yeah, I know
want to
the
be here
MOBOs is
saying...
kind of brazy.
Yeah, I don't want to be here
Whoa,
saying...
that's what I'm saying.
That was kind of brazy.
No, I don't think it gets
No, maybe, sorry.
That might be a viral moment.
Wait, let me
we
see.
don't even get flipping. I don't even know.
We'll test it. We'll test it on
American
social
artists
media.
You can even say like even comes to moments
The
anymore.
biggest
yeah,
one
true.
I can think of is the Grammys, because I remember when he done that infamous. Is it infamous?
Was that
speech,
infamous?
Where it's like, everybody wanted to know what I'd say if I didn't win. Well, I guess we'll never know. That one. But that was when he won a Grammy.
Oh.
Yeah.
When's the other one when he even came for Taylor Swift as well? Like,
That's what I was going to say.
He didn't win. He didn't win an award. I think he just came to say that it should have been Beyonce that won that award instead.
Yeah.
Is that what he
came
was
to
saying?
defend her.
Yeah.
But no, I like Kanye. I think he's been innovative, because the truth is, even from when he split, like I was wondering, when he split with Adidas, I was just thinking, okay, cool, how is he gonna like survive? Because I think he even lost his billionaire status or something like that because of the fact that he's
Probably,
separated from
momentarily.
Maybe, I don't know.
I believe he got it back from another business
No, because
venture.
he actually released like a new clothing line, but then he done this thing that was kind of like ingenious in it, where it's like he made everything $20, and it's
That
like,
was recently.
yeah, he made
Oh.
everything like $20, and it's like been selling out. Like he's been bringing out music again. But I think this is my thing. Like in the face of like pressure or the cancel culture and everything, you've seen somebody just be innovative, and the truth is, the guy is still relevant, and he's been in the industry now for like 20 years plus.
Yeah,
he's still relevant.
I've
But
got something to rebuttal that point. I want to
Alright.
use someone else who I thought was a great actor, or I think is still a great actor, Jonathan Majors, which will back what Beryl said earlier, that when you do get cancelled to a certain extent, it stops you, and there are certain constraints that you have within certain industries. So this is someone that was meant to be Kang within the Marvel universe, which is obviously loads of characters, and obviously he would have had probably a couple films within Marvel that's doing quite well. But when he had his assault harassment verdict, and apparently he was guilty, he didn't go jail or anything. I think I don't know what he has to do. They dropped him, meaning that there's nothing, even if he has, obviously we'll now see his mindset, because it's not that other opportunities will come. But initially, regardless, he's lost money. He's lost his job per se, and now the whole Marvel universe are obviously having to make certain changes within certain characters in order to kind of make sure and ensure they kind of thrive. So regardless of whether he has a great mindset or not, this could be a knock. Obviously, which he can have a great mindset through, but I feel like we can't disregard the fact that people will have an opinion, and people will want to cancel him, especially because it has something to do with a woman.
And also, even with back in that point, and kind of using Kanye as an example, because you just basically said that whatever allegations that were put against him kind of blocked certain opportunities.
Yeah.
With Kanye, he has built his own brand.
He can just pivot.
And he's built his own brand in different.
Yeah, he can
sectors.
pivot. He can pivot to anything.
So
But that's because of the mindset he has.
That's what I'm saying. He's wired different, but the average person is affected by people's opinions of them. Do you get what I mean?
Ooh,
and the truth is, he's in a position where because he's created something.
Yeah. He's talking about.
Yeah. He's created something. He's basically created his own platform. He himself is a brand and can literally be metamorphosized into anything.
But then that's
that
my
he
point.
wants because he's so outrageous.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he could stand out from those that from anyone else. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But the average individual isn't wired like that. Even someone like, for example, Nina Simone. I would consider someone like Nina Simone as like the Martin Luther King of the music.
Who's Nina Simone? Sorry, I literally typed in her name, but I don't know who she is.
She was like a she's a singer.
Yeah.
But she was like an activist as well. So her songs would just touch
Nina
on.
Simone, that name rings a bell.
Yeah,
No,
even we like schools make you study about her.
I don't think my school did, unless I don't remember though.
It's like
Is she like
an
years?
older generation. Yeah.
It says here she was an American singer, songwriter, pianist, composer, arranger. It's an arranger, and a civil rights activist.
Yeah, so she would address a lot of social, political.
But that time and this time are different times, though.
No, but that's
what's
what
the
I'm
point?
saying. But
What's the point that you was making?
According to her time, she was very outspoken.
Yeah.
There's things that she could have been put in jail. She could have been killed.
Really?
Because it's a time of like there's a lot of things to do with
I
race,
respect it. I respect it.
with racism and all of that stuff, and like there was still the separation of whites and blacks and all of that stuff. So in her time, she was really paving a way for one, black musicians, and two, black people in general, because she's confronting like
trends or things that seem
policies
normal.
like different, like the injustice that she felt the people, like her people, were going through. Our people. Do you get what I mean? So, like for her, she's one of the most profound, people that have contributed to the music industry and to even the history of our race to this day, that she can be studied in schools. Do you get what I mean? But the reason why that was is because she was wired different from any other entertainer in her time. The ones that you will end up studying about in schools and in your, school curriculum are people that they did something that was very outrageous.
I get you.
They kind of like broke away from what was the
from
norm.
It. Yeah.
And
but
the norm was to conform.
So, to be fair,
I still feel
and
like
I swear someone said that there was
on.
someone has said that like the way your brain is wired to actually protect you. Like the human mind. So
I feel like I don't know.
There's some sort of psychology behind it, that the way your mind is wired, it's wired to keep you safe.
Yeah, we will research this after
to
see.
You, and it's like whatever experiences you're having, basically, your brain will basically be would interpret that situation, and based on how your brain has interpreted it, it will basically affect how you respond.
So it creates defense mechanisms, kind of.
Yes. So for example, say the reason why somebody would get a 9 to 5 and not be an entrepreneur is because it's
the
their
safety
brain,
net.
that their brain has now created.
Yeah.
But then I still feel like, though, it's still like everything that you're saying, it still defends the point that I've made, that it's still a survival of the fittest thing. Because, for example, in that same time, if we're just going to use Nina Simone, there would have been probably a lot of other artists or a lot of other musicians that were trying to do the same sort of thing, but they couldn't survive because of the fact that those challenges were too hard. But she's one of the names that we could mention from that time who is still relevant now, but that's just because of the fact that, like you've said, she was wired differently. And of course, like we can mention that there's many things that can influence someone's wiring, the house that they've grown up in, the parents that they've had, the people, the community around them. But then for me, what I'm looking at now, okay, cool. Are we then going to say that the cancel culture is something that shouldn't be there? Or would we then still say that it's actually still something that can just be a stepping stone? Let me. It can still be something that's a stepping stone to allow somebody to either show what they're truly made of, or just show if they're not cut out for this thing.
No, cancel culture is inevitable, I think.
Yeah, I think.
No, but I'm asking if it's something that, do you guys feel like it's something that should be there or shouldn't be there?
No,
it is inevitable.
That's what I mean.
Should it still be there or
No,
not?
there's nothing you could. That's what I mean. There's nothing you can do about it.
I don't have an opinion if it should or shouldn't be there. I think it's always there.
You can't. It's always there anyway.
I'm saying if it was down to you guys, let's say okay, let's give a scenario. You guys are the president of a country. You have
a communist.
No, do you know what?
But I'm just giving a scenario.
The question is difficult to answer though, because you got to think about it. No, yeah, you got
where freedom of expression.
You've got to think about your question. Yeah, we've never experienced that. Everyone always has an opinion. But the point I think the point Beryl was making is that obviously it can affect everyone mentally. The point you're making, which I agree with, obviously at the end, is that it does show who's strong or who's not, because it depends on where you've grown up. It depends. It depends on your mindset as well. And I heard a quote this week. I think one of the best quotes I've heard, and I put on my Instagram. Actually got about 8 or 7 likes. You know, like likes on Instagram are quite good. Like if you get over 10 anyway. I know some of you haven't, but but anyway, it's weak minds. Yeah, they like validation. They can't stand out, and it takes guts to be different. And I think that corresponds with what kind of Glody was saying. And obviously it's difficult. Being cancelled and being hated by people, unquote, is difficult. Because
everyone wants to be loved and accepted.
However, you have to ride past it. I think for people, like, you got to think about it. I think I was watching a doc on the Cold War. When it comes to war, for example, there's certain decisions you are just going to have to make as a leader. People will die. You just have to consider, how many people do you want dead? Where do you want to take this? Or you get what I mean? Like, these things are quite difficult to handle. You're going to have to make some decisions that many people won't agree with, and there's decisions that people will agree with. It just depends on you and how convicted you are as an individual. However, back to the cancel culture point though, if you're getting cancelled, for doing crazy things, then hey, let me be honest with you, you also have to change your mind and seek help, innit? Get leadership and mentorship. However, if you're getting cancelled, maybe for things that you haven't done, or something you thought was true to yourself, which isn't necessarily bad, and you're just getting clowned on it on social media, you as an individual have to go into it knowing that you're going to have a strong mindset. Because the difference between Kanye West and maybe other artists, for example, that could have either done worse or could have done less, I think, is that if you watch his documentary, he has actually always had that crazy type of mindset.
His mum literally said that he's always been interpreted as very extremely proud and arrogant and rude and whatever.
You do know he started off as a producer. I don't know if we spoke about this on our other podcast. I feel like I'm having deja vu here. But he started off as a producer, but he wanted to become an artist. I think he wanted to become an artist through Jay-Z, and loads of people didn't want him to become an artist. They didn't rate him as that, but he still became an artist. He became a great artist. When he
literally ignored it.
Yeah, and
but most people, when faced with that, they can't take it. They cower away from it. But it's like, you have to literally. I know there's a lot of quotes about knowing yourself and but I think when it really comes down to what that means, you have to be so centered in, like, your convictions in what you believe in, and continue to push. Push and kind of, like, what's the word? Encourage it and give it life, despite if people are giving different opinions.
Just you just like a tree. Actually, no, I don't want to, because I'll
like
give
a
like
tree.
an analogy.
Exactly.
And you was gonna say that.
Like a tree.
Just do you know what it is? Just being able to hold yourself regardless of what happens in it, because people will always fluctuate. But if you stay at what you're doing and you're consistent, naturally, you'll continue to excel, and you'll find the people that accept you for who you are. I think also though, because it does ask here kind of cancel culture having the ability for people to hold accountability. I think it does to an extent, but it's just toxic.
I can't.
Make that point
so I was saying, it says here, obviously the question here is that is Gen Z a phenomenon where cancel culture has an impact and affects artists and creatives? Does it foster accountability? Obviously, there's the other part of it. I feel like it fosters accountability to a certain extent.
Do you know what I think?
Yeah.
I think everything is bringing awareness.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily if it's bringing accountability, because I just feel like the world is the world, and the way things have happened, there's nothing that is
cool. I get what
new.
You're saying.
It's just that things are coming to light.
Oh, okay.
Do you get what I mean? So people that are now getting cancelled.
There's certain situations that you're talking about.
We don't even know anything about some of the people that you love.
Yeah.
Because of how the media has
portrayed them,
pushed that
propaganda
about that individual. You love that individual, but you have no idea what they've done behind closed doors.
Yeah, I get
Do you get what I mean? So it's more like, are you gonna choose to you know, just love the creativity of an individual and just stick to loving the creativity and disassociate them from their person? Or is it that we're going to be like making it a thing of I like this person and I don't like this person based on what they're doing? But the truth is everybody has like, I think there's things that are coming to light that have literally always been there and have always been an issue. Yeah. And so things like if there's a lot of sexual assault allegations and stuff like that,
it's something that's been happening for a long time.
Many women like have never even spoken about a lot of the things that they've gone
happened
through, just because of the fact of there's still a fear about it. Even as much as our generation, especially Gen Z, we are so outspoken and outrageous. Like we'll just come on social media and say, "Oh, he's like me." This, like, do you get what I mean? But the truth is, the majority is that there are a lot of women that don't even speak on the experiences that they've had. That has, I guess, in a certain time, was a norm.
Yeah, I get you.
And I feel like our generation, even though we have probably made the most progress and impact to fight for equality and for equal opportunities and for freedom of speech, all of that stuff. I think we are still transitioning to find the balance in everything.
Yeah, okay. No, of course, because we haven't. I don't know how to explain it, but everyone's always finding themselves. I read who's the guy that does Diary of a CEO? I follow him a bit.
Jeff Bartlett or something like that.
What?
It's not
Jeff who? Bartlett. It's Steve, no?
No, you said
Steve Bartlett. Steve Bartlett. I think it's Steve Bartlett. It's not Jeff. But him, he there's a quote that I saw that he put on LinkedIn, I believe. Don't follow me on LinkedIn. For anyone on social, I'm joking. Follow me on LinkedIn. I need to get my followers up on it. But he said something. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say now. What's the point that you just made? I literally forgot. Damn. It literally just flew out of my head. Yeah. No, I forgot now. Sorry. We're just gonna have to continue. I literally forgot. Sorry.
Fish brain.
Nah.
What was I talking about?
Damn.
He was basically speaking about how you don't feel like. 1 second.
Go on. No, we're not you now, bro. We all forgot. No, I was trying to remember. He put something on LinkedIn, but I told you go on.
I think the point that you were trying to make was that basically we're not yet at the position where we can say that the cancel culture is in a position to foster accountability. And then you brought up the many instances of women who obviously can't speak yet.
Yeah, no, honestly, guys, I don't know, because I was about to make a point and you guys were going to listen to me. So I'm going to have to look for it.
It's interesting because I read somewhere, and it says it here, I'm just going to quote it quickly. Cancel culture
quote that.
Is seen by many as a tool for holding people and organizations accountable.
They love that word.
Now, one of my rebuttals to something like this is what if someone is then wrongfully cancelled? Because we do see a lot of instances.
No, many people are.
And remember, this isn't me saying that I have, a stance on any of it.
And who are the cancellers as well? Like, who's the people that are holding them accountable?
That's what I'm saying. The cancel, it comes from because the truth is celebrities and influencers are made by the consumers.
The
public. So the truth is, if there is a vast majority of people saying a certain thing and there's a general consensus and agreement that, this is wrong, it's like brands, because of all the laws that we have in place nowadays and whatever, they have to listen to it to a certain extent.
Or they have to make face.
Do you get what I mean? They got to make face to some sort of extent, and they sometimes have to cave into that. Do you get what I mean? So I think, and the truth is, for example, like there was, I think, some sort of scandal with Balenciaga and child pornography and, child abuse and all of that stuff.
I think I remembered something like that anyway. I don't remember.
I think to a certain extent it had to keep them accountable in terms of, like, how can you be endorsing this? To this day, people are still wearing Balenciaga.
That's true.
So the effect of the cancel culture then didn't actually do anything to something like that.
I mean, for some people, like, for example, there might be some brands, for example, that won't publicly, like if they, I don't know, if they were doing a photo shoot and they wanted to provide Balenciaga products for, I don't know, a podcast set, like what we're doing now, whatever. There might be some places that they'll just say, you know what,
it still holds weight to a degree.
I'd rather not, whatever. But the truth is, the brand is so big, like...
not a lot of people... No, it's like Nike, though. Nike. I learned in, was it secondary school? I can't remember. I think they have, like, sweatshops, for example. They underpay people. People in China are killing themselves. You get what I mean?
There's that sort of, like, conspiracy... Well, not conspiracy, but... it's very black and white.
Yeah, I still
you know
wear
what I'm
Nike.
saying? Like you can't.
Obviously, I don't
it's
agree
hard
with
to-
that, by the way, but I still
Yeah.
wear Nike. And
And
people listening still wear Nike as well.
And do you know what? I'm
Jokers.
thinking? Like, I'm thinking, generally, yeah.
Mhm.
And this is not to side with people that probably have, committed atrocities and whatever.
Yeah, atrocities.
What I'm thinking is, for those that have risen to a certain level of prominence, do you not always think there's always something that's somebody somewhere saying, this is outrageous, you shouldn't do this, this is wrong, da da da. But I feel like to a certain degree,
That what?
to rise to the top
Oh no,
and
people
to be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
distinguished from other people, I feel like there are some situations that it's just like, hey,
It needs to happen.
No, but it's even with wearing clothes though. Just a simple example. People always have an opinion.
yeah,
Someone could wear a
It's
jumper. Someone likes it.
yeah,
Someone else doesn't like it. Someone's
Yeah.
offended by it because apparently the material could be made from sheep and they love sheep. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like that thing though, yeah.
And
That's
it's
saying
not-
that bad publicity is good publicity in a way as well. So you see the point that you just made, yeah. For example, that for some brands to be able to like grow or get to a certain position, there's something that needs to have come out basically, in which
No, so
it
I'm-
turns everybody's attention
no,
towards them.
No, so I'm not saying that something needs to come out, but what I'm saying is, I think for those that usually rise to a place where they're in the public eye and there is some sort of accountability that they have to the public because of their status,
Because of their status, yeah.
I feel like there is always an opinion somewhere of where they want to say this is wrong and this is right.
Yeah,
and
of
this
course, of
shouldn't be
course.
done,
Yeah, that's a
da, da, da,
given.
da.
I
Do
think
you
that's
get
a
what I mean?
given.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying that the stuff that they've done is always correct. Do you get what I mean? But it's like, I feel like sometimes those that do end up getting to the top, they've made probably questionable decisions sometimes that probably the vast majority wouldn't agree with. And of course, I'm not gonna stand here and say that I stand for or I accept or I endorse
Yeah,
things like sexual assault, because I don't know how that will rise and get you to the top.
yeah.
But however, some people do sleep with people and then they get opportunities. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
But they made a decision that other people wasn't willing to do to
Yeah,
get somewhere. Do you
to
get what I
get
mean?
Okay,
But
I get what you're
I'm
saying.
saying is that
It's
I feel
crazy
like
though.
to stand out from the rest of from everybody else,
There's
whether
certain
in a
decisions.
positive way or in a
Negative.
negative
There's
way.
certain decision you have to
There's a
make.
decision, there's
Yeah, I
a decision
get
that
you.
you would make that the wider public or the vast majority would not do,
Do you think?
and they will criticize you for. Like, how
yeah.
can you do that? Do you get what I mean?
Do you think that you guys would survive like in the public eye like that? As in they're following you around and every decision you make. Like some people, yeah, so I could use Justin Bieber, for example. Like, some people say they feel like they've grown with him. Like
Yeah,
through
because
through when he was with like Usher
yeah,
and obviously he was with P. Diddy at
Yeah.
one point. Obviously I won't go into that. I don't know what happened there. But then to the point where he started to fall off and stuff like that as well. Like they followed him through it. Like you get
Yeah.
what I mean? People didn't disagree with his decisions. And then after he obviously decided to then turn it around, and obviously now he's happily or not happily married. I just know he's married. Whether he's happy or not has nothing to do
yeah.
with me. But he's been subject to obviously public opinion, I think. And even with that, I wonder if he's actually been crushed by it or not. And I wonder how you measure it. I wonder how you measure it as well. Do you get what I mean? Because at the same time, of course he's still making music, but you got to think, innit? Like, how then at the same time do you measure whether someone's been able to make it out? Because making it out and being someone that's like different, for example, doesn't mean he continues to make music. People continue to make music and they end up committing suicide, for example.
Yeah, because
you get what I mean?
I was gonna say, like,
what's the measurement
what's
of
the
it?
definition
Yeah,
of somebody rising above it?
Above
or
it,
like,
yeah.
Because my thing is, for example, you can use Michael Jackson and you can use Whitney Houston, who are both people that were in the public eye. Whitney Houston got trolled for, being with Bobby Brown and being a substance misuser. Michael Jackson, same way, he got beat down for being a child abuser.
Yeah.
These are two historical icons within the music industry that they were still very prominent. However, I do think that it's like, even though they were so prominent and extremely successful, and that never really affected, like, the public love of their music or consummation of their music.
Yeah.
I think within themselves as individuals, if it was my opinion,
It could
I
have
would say
crushed
that
them, you
I
think?
think that it crushed Whitney Houston. I think it also affected Michael Jackson as well.
Potentially.
Do you get what I mean?
I get you.
With Whitney Houston's one, you might have to give a bit of context because, for example, I don't really know Whitney Houston's story like that in terms of the things that could have
She just
potentially like crushed her or the public's opinion
she
of
was
her?
in the public eye a lot. So even there was a biopic about her that I didn't even know that she was actually. I think she's actually bisexual.
Really?
But obviously, because that was, I think, let me not give a time frame because I don't want to.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know the time frame. I don't want no one to quote me on it.
Mm-hmm.
But given the time, that she was a celebrity, like things like homosexuality is also not something that was accepted
Publicly
socially as well. So
yeah.
even the person that she
around
actually
80s,
did
90s.
love, she couldn't be with that person publicly. But I think in terms of what brands could consume and what could become a brand,
She had to keep some type
she
of
was
identity.
so it's like Bobby Brown worked. Do you get what I mean? But it's like over
It's not
time,
like what she would have.
It's not what she wanted.
Personally.
I wouldn't say that it's not what she wanted because she did love Bobby Brown to a certain extent.
Yeah, and
But
she
what
buys both, innit?
But it was more like she already had a lover, but when she now met Bobby Brown, they've obviously taken a liking and whatever. And the truth is, in terms of what can be marketable, it's like those two make sense.
Okay.
So then it's
over
time, now that relationship has now become toxic for Whitney in different ways, and she's started to be exposed to substance misuse and all of that stuff, and then it's it spiraled out of control and whatever. And then of course people have their opinion, and the truth is, being in the public eye can be
daunting.
It is
difficult.
Overwhelming. It is overwhelming.
Is this something
and
you've experienced?
It definitely had its effects. So from situations with her own relationship that we may not even know of, the pressures of that already, plus being in the public eye and having to deliver and going on tours and then having to perform in the tours and doing that back to back, I'm thinking, did that really working up? Did she rise above it? No. And her
but she was still successful.
And she was. But the thing is, people say that she was still successful. But
okay, cool.
But
I like that. Actually.
But my thing would be I would say that, and in no way am I saying that she's not iconic, but I would say that Whitney Houston is iconic. But did she succeed in rising above it? I don't know if she did. I think it took a toll on her to the point
where she's then gone and committed.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No,
Carry on.
Well, no, she didn't commit suicide. She died.
But she was.
overdose.
Anyway, we don't know. But you know what? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Do you know my?
Sorry.
No, but my.
She's like the mum of
Wait, so you don't know who Whitney Houston is?
No, I didn't say that.
No,
I don't know
he
who
knows
she
Whitney
is.
Houston.
I'm talking about the.
But
do
do you know Amy Winehouse?
No, okay, we're taking a piss now.
Okay, but do you know what happened to Amy Winehouse?
No, she's
Yes.
no. Beryl's using it as an example for Whitney Houston as well. I get
it's
what
like-
she's. I know. I
it's
get
like
what she's.
But with Whitney Houston, was it not overdose as well, right?
Yeah.
And Amy Winehouse, sorry. With Amy Winehouse, her death was with
Hey.
her death.
Hey. Oh God.
Her death was for an overdose, right?
We'll double check. Yeah, I believe so.
So what's the parallel you're trying to draw between them two?
What I'm saying is.
No, that they was affected.
They were,
they was
were
affected
both,
by something.
They were both people. Amy Winehouse to this day, I do function gigs all the time, and we still sing her songs.
And people say she was quite successful. They say they miss her.
Extremely successful.
And they didn't even know her personally.
In terms of her music has gone and stretched all over the end of the earth.
All over the globe.
Do you get what I mean? She's a successful musician.
What?
Successful. Got a bit of list there. But in terms of did she succeed within herself as a person and, being able to maintain, a certain level of mental stability, I don't think they succeeded in that. And it's you have to have your mind intact as well to be able to.
So you're saying in terms of talent, they succeeded naturally.
Yeah.
However, in terms of, and it's no disrespect to any of them because we didn't know them personally as well.
They've contributed a lot to.
And secondly, there's pressures that obviously they felt that we might have not felt, for example.
Exactly.
But you're saying that, but in terms of maybe character building or being able to build their character, there wasn't that space for them.
I wouldn't say.
In which, to be fair, then proves a point that there needs to be some type of leadership for people, maybe, because there's people that are successful. In regards to being able to be amazing at what they do, because many people have natural skill. Some people don't teach to sing; they're just amazing, and you could refine it. But what they do need is someone being able to kind of help them with that, being able to push them, because naturally people will look up to you, and it's weird. People will look up to you based on your skill, but they won't look up to you based on character, and then they'll be a bit confused why or feel betrayed when that person does something crazy. So back to like Chris Brown, for example, a lot of people probably listen to him. All of a sudden he loses listeners because he's allegedly, or he has got into an altercation with Rihanna, and he's lost followers because of that. And now they dislike him. But the only reason why he liked him was because of his music. The music doesn't really affect his character, but he hasn't been made accountable his whole life. You get what I mean? Maybe there could have been something if.
But he also became a celebrity from young.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly. So same point. He became a celebrity from young, but celebrity doesn't mean leader. Celebrity doesn't mean someone I look up to. Celebrity just means someone who's either become famous because of many different reasons. They could be like, I don't know, good or bad, negative or positive. However, by the way, we've spoken for like ages, by the way. How long? No, like 52 minutes. 52 minutes of speaking.
Let's wrap this.
No, we can. Well, to be fair, we can end it as an open question. To be fair, because it's not like
I would also say, like, because I think you had asked a question before you went to that point, that I think all creatives and people that innovate and they have to basically create their own expression in some sort of way and project that out to the world. I feel like if there are creatives listening and people like that out there, I think genuinely you may hear it a lot on social media and it just sounds like the same old quotes and whatever, but I think you really have to take yourself on a journey to discover who you are. And the truth is, some people will never be able to find that because they don't have access to people that can help them bring that out. And I think that's just a reality of it. But if you are, lucky enough to find people that can bring that out of you, that are people, for example, that think outside of the box or don't think how most people usually think in the way that their brain interprets them to keep them safe, of like what we were talking about before. You have to know how to face opposition, how to deal with that, even when you do feel defeated by some criticism that you've got or a backlash, how to know how to rise above it or even channel that into a different kind of creativity. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's like you would have to know how to be very centered, whole and secure in your beliefs, in your expression, in what you're putting out there before you can, I think, be stable, like to a position where, you're scrutinized by the world. I think because it's so easy for somebody to become an overnight success, nobody has enough time to go through the process of discovering themselves,
building their character
and building their character, all of that stuff. So when they're now in a place of prominence, they will crumble because they haven't had the time to do that.
The cancel culture will just deal with them.
Yeah, and even if they do have, in quotation, a community around them, their community is people that probably are people that they've grown up with that also have a similar mindset to them. They were just lucky enough to be, to get the status, but sometimes some of the people that are around them are still whatless.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Whatless, that's such a funny word.
No, but it's true. Like, there's people that, for example, I don't want to use examples.
No,
just
no
in case I have to
please.
Perform for them or sing with them on one of their songs, because there's one of them that I was going to use an example, but I might want to be on one of their songs, so I'm not going to do that. But I think this is somebody that I think is incredible, has amazing talent, but I genuinely believe that their surrounding has dragged them and they probably won't go anywhere.
Interesting.
If they can get out of that from the background that they've grown up in, I genuinely think that person could have been commercial, like on a level of like a Pop Smoke before, the tragedy that happened.
Yeah.
But genuinely, like, because it's like, even though he rose to a place of prominence, the people that are around this guy is also people from ends.
Yeah.
So he's still got an ends mindset.
Certain
he's
type
not
of
thinking
mindset.
as an entrepreneur. Do you get what I mean? Or as a, do you know
no,
what I mean?
Of course, yeah. No, of course, like you can go to places. I think people can rise to certain places, but if their mindset isn't changed or they're unwilling to learn, they'll then eventually go back to where they came from, regardless of if it takes maybe 5 days or 50 years. They'll just end up at the same place. But yeah, today we've spoken for a long time. I don't think we've concluded much, but I feel like one of the things we have concluded is that the cancel culture is inevitable. And Glody made a good point, to be fair, that I think it's mindset, and I agree with him, that differentiates the two different types of people, those who fell to rise above it, and those who do rise above it. So
yeah.
You gonna close? Should I close?
Sure.
Alright, cool, man. Thank you guys, man. Yeah, thank you guys for listening to our podcast.
Thank you.
We'll be back, next week. And do you have nothing else to say, man? I want those outros, like chunks, the singing ones. Yeah. Alright, cool, calm. We're done, don't worry, man. It's alright, bro.
That was just in time.
Alright, that was perfect.